everyone, welcome to the 2A Procast. This is Jake and Nolan. We forgot to film an intro and we just started talking.
We did.
Indeed. So
Yeah.
when you see us all of a sudden just jump to us talking, that's what happened.
Yeah, that is what we did.
Yeah.
We always forget to film the intro. We just
do.
literally start bantering back and forth. But welcome to the 2A
Welcome.
Procast.
Hi, guys and gal.
If you want to get involved in the Procast and you want your questions answered and you want to talk to us about some of the things that really haunt you and keep you up at night,
There's two
and
ways
make
to
you
do
come in the morning, then you can get into that 2A Pro Discord.
There's two ways to do it.
Two ways to do it. That's three. Okay.
No?
Go ahead.
No, that's two.
Okay. Very nice.
You can, one, get down in the comments down below, leave us questions that we will probably answer horribly.
Get in
or
so deep.
You can get in the 2A Pro Discord server, which is a link down below where some of my favorite people are.
It's discord.gg/2A Pro.
Very good.
You like that? That's
that was very nice.
I know. It's fucking great.
Anyways.
I've always wanted to be like the number caller at like the DMV.
Oh, yeah.
Number A35. That is A35.
At
Tell me I don't
window
have the
number
fucking-
4.
At window number 4.
Oh, you've got it, dude.
I do.
You
I know.
got
I
it.
gotta nail that.
But
Anyway.
anyways, we want to let you know that we love you. Thank you. On to the show. And also, the 2A Pro course is live.
Ooh, and we just did a $10,000 in 10-day proof of concept where we consign inventory over to you, my fellow 2A Pro B1 Kenobis. And the course is closing soon because I'm very involved. One-on-one, I get real deep with you inside of the course, and I can only take so many at a time. So in order to give you the best service possible, we are only going to take a few more, then I'm going to close up that course, and it is 60% off right now. The link is down in the description, and you can make 10K in 10 days with this protocol that you and I started just
a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, just a couple weeks ago. And
It's
proved the concept. It is literally...
It's a tried and true method, but we just made it into a thing.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Nobody,
Probably not.
I swear to you, nobody is doing it. And I promise, this is literally a promise. I will give you everything I own if you can't make up. I'm looking at you right now. If you can't do this, I will go homeless and hand you everything I own. Because the only way you wouldn't be able to do this, make $10,000 in 10 days, seriously, is if you just went to I'm not going to give too much information away, but if you did the thing and just stood there and actually only breathed in air but didn't actually
You would
physically
still
do anything,
probably make it.
you would still
Yeah.
probably do it. So it's actually pretty fucking incredible. We're very proud of it.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Easy peasy.
Easy peasy. Yeah.
So,
anyway.
back to the show where I left you off. It'll make sense later. Okay.
Yeah, okay.
To say the yeast, it's like, do they run into the good old Fudd hunter who's like, come back to the cabin, sweetheart, I'll make you some lentil stew.
Yeah.
or are they running into what was his name? Not Dahmer, the other dude that ladies thought was like really handsome, but he wasn't.
Oh, Ted Bundy.
Bundy. Yeah, or they run into Bundy in the woods. You know what I mean?
Yeah, not like you said that ladies thought was really handsome, but he actually.
Dude, he's not, dude.
What the fuck are you talking about? This guy was not attractive.
Yeah, ladies also get super bad Stockholm syndrome. So
Don't get me wrong. Fucking Zac Efron was a total stud when he played Ted Bundy, but Ted Bundy did not look like Zac Efron.
he played Ted Bundy.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
In Netflix.
Oh, that's
It's called Ted Bundy.
oh
Yeah.
oh. Zac Efron is a heartthrob, dude.
He's
Man's attractive.
He's a very attractive man.
Very attractive man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's quite attractive.
Yeah.
You know what man, are we recording?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good start to the podcast. You know what man I think is not attractive that women think is attractive? Think hard. Think hard. Who's just grossly overrated? Fucking Gosling, dude. Like, I don't.
Goss Dog?
Yeah. Why?
I don't think he's like super attractive.
Nah.
But I love him as an actor.
I love the man as an actor.
Yeah.
Just don't think he's
just average.
Fuck.
I would
I think
say.
it's the roles that they put him in, right? He's got
It's his
like
sense of humor.
the Notebook. I
Yeah.
think it's just like the Notebook and like,
What do
that
you
cash-
want?
I'll
Yeah.
admit it. Like I'm not gonna fuck a dude, right? Personally, not my bag.
Don't lie
But
to
I
me.
can admit it when a man is attractive, right?
Right.
And so
Not my
my
bag.
wife, it's not my bag, baby. But I can clearly see not blind when I'm like, that is a guy who, you know, my wife might leave me for, or that is a guy who I just don't understand why everybody.
I might leave my wife for.
Who I might leave my wife for.
Right.
Yeah. That. Who is the most attractive? I feel like we've talked about this on the podcast, which means we probably shouldn't talk about this again. Otherwise, people are going to think we're gay. And good. My attention,
you know? my memory loss, my short-term and long-term memory loss are beyond.
I know. It's great for us because we feel like we always have new material. It's just shitty for the people listening because they're like, we've heard this before.
You literally talked about this yesterday. I wake up and I forget everything. But it's good because life is fresh and brand new every day.
So I just got back from England.
You got back from England.
Jesus Christ, I am so happy to be an American. I would like to talk
about your time.
I would like to talk about the trip over the
over the pond?
Over the pond.
Yeah.
There is a reason. Every time I've gone to Europe, and it's been a lot of times, not. I used to live there. I was stationed over in Italy, but
I would say Italy is better than England.
It is, but it still sucks. I mean, it's a shitty place to live. Italy is a really nice place to visit. It's a shitty place to live.
Right.
England is just a shitty place to visit, and I'm assuming to live. It is. Like, the only reason I had even a quasi-good time is, for those of you that don't know, my wife is Indian, she's Punjabi, and her cousin, who she refers to as her brother, because that's what they do in their culture. Their cousins are technically their brothers and sisters. That's how they view them, which is a great way to view them because they are family.
It's a very tight-knit
It's a very tight-knit family, so we went over there, we saw her Indian wedding, and it's fucking amazing. You know, it's just this 5-day nonstop celebration.
It's pretty lit, honestly.
Bringing all the families together, and one of the really cool things that I like about Indian culture, and especially the weddings, is one thing that I noticed is they really connected between families. So her family and the family that was being married into spent a lot of time together after the wedding and before the wedding, right? So they integrate together. They all get to know each other. They invite the entire family over to each other's houses and they break bread together, and it's just a fucking cool thing.
They also know how to party.
And they know how to fucking party. They know how to party. When you talk about, when you go to an American wedding, you've got about 3/4 of the people sitting down, maybe 1/4 of the people on the dance floor. Not so much at the Indian wedding.
That doesn't happen,
I will play a clip for you right here. Where this is insane. They actually not only play music, but then they have these guys that play the doles, these Indian drums that like drop beat behind like these songs. It's fucking incredible. Everybody is jumping up and down. The entire scene is completely nonstop. Nobody ever stopped dancing until the DJ said, "Sit the fuck down because I've got to,
drink
do
water
a thing
or
or
die."
two." Yeah. You guys have to eat some food and then you can get back up here. My wife has, sorry.
No, you're good.
My wife has I think she's almost 90 years old. She calls her a bibby. And there were several older folks at this wedding. They were in the middle of the dance floor. Now they weren't raging, but they were bobbing their head. But they were up raging on the dance floor like most of the time. It was pretty fucking incredible, man.
I was gonna say Punjabi people know how to party harder than any other culture, and I will die on that hill.
They're absolutely nuts. And
I will die on that hill.
They are a complete badass class of warriors.
Yeah,
and they're just cool motherfuckers. And
they are.
I absolutely fell in love with that entire side of her family and the culture, even though I've known about it, been exposed to some of it, but haven't really been integrated into it until I went over there to really see how they do it. And I just feel like such an uncultured bastard around some of those people. There's just a thing for everything and a meaning behind everything. And it's really fucking cool. And, if you can, marry outside of your fucking race, dude. It just does a wonderful thing for your, it psychologically, and it opens your mind up and your eyes up to the rest of the world. And you don't have to marry into another culture to really understand it. You could just read a fucking book or go travel over to that place. But If you really want to get in the culture, if you want to go deep in the culture, then marry into it.
If you want to bear children with the culture.
Yeah, so that is my take. Now, that is the good news. And there are a couple other good things, and I'll start with the positives, and then I'm going to lay into England for everything that I hate about them. Things I liked. I wrote them down.
There's a reason we fought against them.
Yeah.
Solid reason.
We'll get to that in a second, as a matter of fact. Things I liked about England?
Yeah, tell me what you liked.
They spoke English.
That is nice.
Kind of.
Kind of.
It took me 5 minutes to explain that I just wanted a Band-Aid for my daughter. Right. So she had some little cut on her foot from her dancing shoes at the wedding, and I was just trying to get a Band-Aid from the guy that worked at the hotel, and man, that was a fucking nightmare. Because I went out and I asked for a bandage, and he brought me back something that
like
probably should have been for a gunshot wound, And I was like, no, I just need like a Band-Aid, like a little strip, and came back with something else that should have been for like an incision, a surgical incision. And I was like, no, dude, just a small thing to go over. And we went back and forth for a few minutes and kept bringing the wrong shit. I said, just bring me your entire medical kit, right? And so I see the thing that I'm looking for, which is a fucking Band-Aid.
Yeah.
And I even tried to show him, like, on my finger. He brings me back, and I pulled it out, and he goes, oh, you mean a plaster? And I was like, what? He goes, a plaster. Apparently they call it
Plaster.
A plaster. So if you ever go to England and you cut yourself on the knife that you're using to cut through their incredibly tough chicken and steaks that they serve, because their food is also garbage, then ask for a plaster, not a Band-Aid.
One of my favorite.
Now you know.
One of my favorite like ongoing jokes is that England or Britain like conquered most of the known world for spices and just doesn't use them.
I am getting to that.
Okay.
Yeah, I am getting to that. I literally, like, it was the first thing that I thought about when I was like eating their food. And fortunately, I had the privilege of eating just a lot of very good Indian food while I was over there because their family cooked for us. But I went out to a few different restaurants and tried their food, and Jesus Christ, it's as bad as everybody says it is. It's terrible. We tried everything. I'm like spaghetti bolognese, the shepherd's pie, chicken, beef, shrimp skewers, like whatever I can get my hands on, just to make sure that like maybe one restaurant missed it or one dish wasn't quite what I thought it was. No, it was all equally terrible. And for a country who spent millennia invading countries for spices and invading cultures, they have zero fucking culture and zero fucking spices on their food.
Mayonnaise is hot, dude. It's spicy.
Dude, absolute fucking trash. And you can't, the water there, you can't get water to save your life. They serve lemonade with everything, or beer, right? But I don't drink, so it's just like lemonade with everything. And if you ask for water, it comes in a bottle and it tastes like spattered ass. I would want to drink Flint, Michigan water more than I'd want to drink their fucking bottled water. It's absolute fucking trash. I'm like, can't you guys get some Aquafina or some shit over here?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Let's get some Crystal Geyser up in this bitch.
Some like even like just Costco water. You know, anything would be better than this shit.
Good old Kirkland water.
I'll tell you about taking a shit. Toilet paper that they have in most of these institutions that you go wipe your ass at. First of all, I clog the toilet.
Wait, you wipe?
Yeah, go figure. I clogged the toilet multiple times without even using toilet paper. So I learned very quickly that I needed to take like a third of a shit.
You flush as you go?
I had to take like a third of a shit. Yeah. One log came out, boom, flush. Because my entire shit, I don't know if they're just tiny people with tiny shits eating tiny amounts of food, but my entire poop would clog the toilet up almost inevitably every single time.
I mean, that does explain why they would lose the war.
There's no other reason.
There's no other reason right there.
Look at the size of your shit.
Yeah.
Clearly you
can't. It's a baby poop.
Can't hold a fucking candle to 3% of fucking colonists with, some
bear-sized
shits. Come on.
Defecants.
Their toilet paper was not on a roll.
That's bothersome.
It is very bothersome. It's in sheets that you pull out of this little box, kind of like
a tissue.
Yeah, like tissue. Yeah. So
I don't like that.
You could be crying or shitting, and I don't know, maybe crying about the bad food that you eat, wiping your tears away while you're attempting to flush.
Maybe crying about the clogged toilet.
Yeah, crying about that. I don't know. Anyway, it was absolute trash. Let's see. What other things didn't I like? Driving on the left while also being on the right side of the car.
Yeah.
I will tell you there was a sigh of relief, though, when I got into the rental car and I saw that my gas pedal was still on the right and my brake pedal was on the left.
Oh,
I
thank
was
God.
very, because I didn't know. And so I wasn't thinking about it until I was about to get into the vehicle. And I'm like,
What if
fuck,
everything's switched?
What if everything's on the
You're like,
opposite?
my left foot is not conditioned for this.
What if I have to push a gas pedal on the left side of the vehicle? I was a legitimate concern of mine. And as soon as I saw that, I was like, oh, thank God. But I can't tell you how many times. Have you ever, let me explain to you what it's like driving in England. Have you ever, if you've ever done this, you may not have, but if you ever have, been like in the middle of a city that has a grid, right, where it's kind of one-way streets everywhere, and then you accidentally turn down the wrong way.
The worst.
That oh shit feeling. I did
that in Rome.
I'm going down the wrong side of the road and there's a car coming at me, right? Imagine that all the fucking time. That is exactly like
I don't like that.
and I probably drove like somewhere between like 12 to 15 hours while I was over there because it was 3 hours from Heathrow to Newport where we were staying, and then it was another 3 hours back, and then I probably drove another 6 to 8 hours just around the area,
yeah.
right? So just imagine like 12 to 15 hours of solid driving where the entire time you're just like, I'm driving the wrong fucking way.
Just constant concern because
Right.
you're on the left side of the road.
Pause. Hello. So it was just constant panic
Yeah.
the entire time I was driving.
Big
and
concern.
anytime, I eventually got used to it, but anytime I would take a right, like from the left, right, a right-hand turn, because in America, if you're on the right side of the road, left-hand turns are always like the more dangerous ones. You got to go through oncoming traffic, right, when you take left-hand turns. But taking
It's the other way.
It's the other way. It's taking right-hand turns is the more dangerous one. But for some reason, I could not wrap my little bird brain around the fact that every time I took a right-hand turn, I needed to get back into the left-hand lane. And I just inevitably saw headlights like right in front of me every time I took a right-hand turn.
Well, it's so ingrained.
It's
You've been driving in America for
I know.
what, 30 years?
Lots of time.
Yeah.
Yeah, lots
so
of
it's
time.
just
Even
like
driving in Italy, it was on the right side of the road, right?
Yeah.
And you're in the left side of the car.
It's normal.
Yeah, but fucking England, got to be different.
Got to be different.
What else didn't I like? Oh, they have speeding ticket cameras. Yeah. So
Everywhere.
But let me tell you what I did like. This is actually pretty incredible. There was rush hour traffic. This is a very, very beautiful thing about other countries. This is not just native to England, but this was native to other places in Europe where I've driven. Beautiful, beautiful thing. Rush hour, absolute insane traffic by the time we got on the road. But even with super congested billion cars on the road, we were actually driving. People were moving.
It wasn't stop.
There wasn't stop and then go and then stop and then go. People just maintained a slow, safe speed that was consistent, and there was no stopping and no going.
Way to go.
They just drove the
Way to
fucking
go.
car. But in the United States, it doesn't work like that because these fucking idiots, they speed up, slow down, change lanes. You know how many people change lanes? Like fucking zero. They just stayed in the fucking lane that they were in. They accepted the fact that we're all just going to go slow together because that's the way socialism works. And they didn't attempt to get ahead of fucking anybody. They just drove. Because have you ever wondered, like, why is traffic backing up for no apparent reason?
Every single time.
For no reason.
Every
It would
single
make
time.
sense if it happened like right next to an on-ramp where people are getting on a free. No, I've watched it happen. I've been like kind of at an elevated position on the freeway and like been able to see down where there were no on-ramps and going, why the fuck did just 100 cars stop for no reason, which eventually works its way to the back of the line.
I honestly believe that it is a simulation thing. Like, I don't buy into simulation theory too hard.
Okay.
I like to toy around with it, but every time I get stuck in like stop traffic,
Yeah.
I'm like, it's obviously this is just simulation shit. I'm like, something broke in the NPC code.
Yeah.
And they're like, ugh. And there's like just a row of people in the lanes and they're all drooling,
Yeah.
stopping and going.
It is definitely a possibility. Okay, the lack of fucking coffee. God, man. I tried to get coffee. There was no coffee in the hotel room. There was no coffee in the lobby of the fucking
Really?
hotel. It wasn't even like a bad hotel.
It seems strange.
And then I asked the guy, like, is there anywhere around here I
Where I
can get coffee? He was like, a shop's open around 7 o'clock a.m. So you can get some coffee at 7. And I'm like, dude, do you motherfuckers not have shit to do prior to 7 o'clock in the morning?
No.
Yeah, I don't think they do.
No.
Yeah. Well, that explains why they suck and we don't.
Yeah.
All right. So,
Well, you
that
got to remember, America is like 1,000 times larger.
Yeah.
We got shit to do.
We do have shit to do.
why
It
we
was
won
very
the war.
commercial. Nothing was convenient over there. Absolutely nothing was convenient.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. There was no like convenient store where you just walk in and grab a thing. If I went to a gas station and it was like past 8 o'clock at night, they were like locked behind a counter with a little thing that you had to like put your credit card into, and then the guy takes it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like segregating you and not allowing you into the thing. Only during the day, as if it's just incredibly dangerous.
Almost like their police force only has nightsticks.
Exactly.
And you can't really defend yourself.
No.
Because there's anti-knife laws and anti-gun laws, and criminals don't listen to laws.
Oh, obviously, because the day after we got there, there was this like mass stabbing that happened. Some dude had a machete and started like killing children with it or something.
Oh, no way.
Hey, go figure.
No,
but
really?
knives are illegal.
Yeah.
So yeah, it makes a lot of sense
Yeah.
why they would
well,
actually.
thank
end
God
up
they
doing
have
that.
those laws against knives.
Praise be.
Praise be.
Praise be, little
Praise
baby
be.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Let's see. Cameras giving speeding tickets. Okay, great.
That's garbage.
Yeah. So that was, but you know what? I partially think that is why traffic sailed so smoothly for much of the time is because they couldn't exceed 70 miles per hour, which is very strange because they operate, the vehicles and the speed limits operate in miles per hour in England. And I just assumed everything was kilometers per hour.
Really?
Because everything
It's
is
in miles per hour?
It's fucking miles per hour. It's a very strange thing.
That's very strange.
I know.
Because Italy is kph.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's odd.
I believe
Odd-
so is like Australia.
Yeah, the autostrada in Italy is 130 kilometers per hour, which I think translates to like 70 or something like that.
Because like,
but no, less than that.
It's-
it wasn't 100. It's 130
no, it's more.
kilometers
It's like
per hour.
80. Because I think 120
80.
kilometers per hour is like close to like 80 miles an hour. I think.
Ugh, can't do it. Can't math. Yeah, 1.6. It's 1.6.
Yeah.
You just multiply the number by 1.6.
There it is.
So yeah. Yep. So it would be about 80 miles per hour. Yeah. And then the autobahn, I believe, is just.
It's as I believe
That's
there
as-
is no speed limit.
I believe there's not
well,
either.
also, but the autobahn, I believe, is just their word for highway.
It is.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
there is
the-
a section of autobahn
Yeah.
where there is no speed limit.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just like the autostrada literally means car road.
Yes. Car road.
Car road.
Car road.
Road car.
I'm going to start a petition right now. Highways will become
Car
car
roads.
roads.
Have you taken the car road?
Are you taking the car road today?
Let's see a couple other things kind of interesting here. I will, and of course, like it's talking about the speeding tickets and in the cameras.
Yes.
I absolutely gave zero fucks. Zero fucks.
Yeah.
What
What are they going to do?
What are you gonna do?
What are you
Take my
gonna do
car?
to me?
What I will probably get is like a massive bill from the rental car company. Like, you got 8,000 tickets while you're on that thing.
Sucks for you that's a credit card that I canceled.
Yeah, exactly. One thing that I did not like, made me quite sad actually, was we check into the hotel, we go in, drop off our luggage. I go back out to the front counter, waiting behind a gentleman, hopefully a gentleman, that
Aren't they all gentlemen?
I hope he was, because the lady behind the counter that worked at the hotel said, I can't get your specific card to work. The card reader is broken, so here's the master for the entire hotel. Please don't go into anybody else's room while you have this. And then I looked at him and I said, if you go into room 505, I will fucking murder you. Swear to God. Yeah, I didn't say fucking. But I said, if you go into room 505, I will kill you.
I'll kill you, dude.
Yeah. I don't know who you are. And then I asked the lady when I went up to get the towels, I was like, is it like normal for you to just hand out universal hotel keys to everybody? And she's like, well, only when this happens. And I was like, fuck me.
How many times has this happened?
How many times? Well, clearly it just happened right in front of me. So
It's
anyway.
every other card.
Yeah. Like, just this is the shit that doesn't happen in you would never have like somebody at the fucking Marriott in the United States going, hey, listen, man, this card doesn't work. I can't get your room
I'm
key
just
to
going
work.
to give you a MasterCard.
Here's the master key to the entire fucking hotel.
Yeah, don't worry about it. Just don't go into any others, okay? I trust you.
And you would think that she would at least like just not tell him it was a fucking master key and give him his room number.
That's what I would do.
Why announce
I would
it?
just go, oh, here we go. That one will work for your door now.
I don't know. Maybe it would be helpful because then if he like got his room number wrong, then he gets in there and he cuddles up next to the wrong guy, which might be me, and then I choke him out and, you know. I don't know. Just maybe don't give out other people's hotel room keys. All right.
Yeah, maybe just take him to his hotel room, something like that.
Okay. Here we go. Here's another one. Customs. coming back. Before there's a real banger right at the end, so stick around. Customs coming back. It took me. My wife and I were in line for almost an hour to get through customs to show our passport in the airport customs line. Now, let me talk about what happens for a second when you come in from another country. To those of you that haven't traveled internationally, this is important. Just so you can understand the way it works. To get through TSA, you have to show your passport and your plane ticket to show that, hey, I am an American citizen, allowed to go back into this American country. Will you let me through? They say yes, you go through TSA. Then to get on the fucking plane, you again show your passport saying, I'm an American citizen. I would like to, here's my plane ticket. I would like to get on this plane to go to America.
Right.
Right? Okay.
Yes.
Now you land in America, and then you stand in this hour-long fucking line with customs agents checking everybody's passports and everybody's bags and asking you a ton of different questions about what you have in your bag to verify that you are an American after you've already been checked twice getting onto the fucking plane. But at the southern border of the United States, you just walk or swim across. When you went down to Eagles Pass,
Oh, yeah.
how difficult was it for you to cross over the border
I came back with an ID.
without a passport?
Yep.
Did they check your bags?
Nope.
They just you walked through.
Yep.
But, okay, this is the shit that we're talking about, right? So your Customs and Border Patrol inside of a fucking airport.
Which I would like to remind you, TSA has like a 70% audit failure rate.
Yeah.
I think it just recently dropped to 70. I think it was like at 80 or something.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, they by no means are, doing what they're supposed to be doing. But what I'm trying to say here is I'm being checked by TSA, then by the person at the fucking gate who just works for the airline, then again by CBP as I'm walking through, who's asking me all sorts of questions about what I have, what's in my fucking bag, and I have to wait an hour. If they had 10% of the fervor, 10% of the work ethic, right, at the border. Now, and I'm not talking about CBP. I'm talking about the institutions who create this, because Customs and Border Patrol agents, they're doing their fucking job as much as they're allowed to do their job.
Right.
It is the U.S. government who is tying their fucking hands behind their back and
garbage,
not allowing them to do it. So if the government agencies that actually allowed the CBP to do their job at the border, if they would give them 10% of the fucking leeway that they gave them at the airport when I've already been checked twice before I landed in fucking America, we would have we'd have a more secure border than we have right now.
See,
I will tell you that much.
I feel real bad for you hearing that story because when I came back from India, my customs experience, it took me less than 10 minutes. I'm so sorry, dude.
It's fucking trash.
I came back, right? I get to SFO. I'm coming in.
That's where I came in at.
Yeah.
Yeah, SFO, yeah.
International airport, baby. Went in, got to customs, walked right up. Wasn't too many people there, so that was probably a part of it. But I walk up, looks at my passport, looks at me. Anything to declare? I go, nah. He goes, all right, have a good one.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's good for you. But I was with a brown person.
That's true.
Yeah.
It was just two white people coming through. They look at you. They look at brown 1, brown 2, brown 3.
Yeah.
And then little white guy.
It might have been my comment to him because
you said you were smuggling over.
Yeah, in the
children.
Children. In the videos that they have playing as you walk up to the counter, there's a customs agent and they're smiling and they're talking to you and explaining to you. And
Did you say he wasn't as smiley as the guy?
I said, why aren't you smiling like the CBP agent up on the camera?
Oh, he fucked with you just for that
I know.
reason.
I'm sure that's
You're
why.
an asshole. Hey, why aren't you like the guy in the video?
Why are you guy in the video? I don't get any smiles or explanations as to why you're doing these things.
To anybody listening, whenever you encounter a Jake Dines in the wild, please ask him, why aren't you like the guy in the video?
Here's the kicker. This is the icing, the cherry on top of the entire fucking trip. While I was at this wedding, there was a British guy. They had I was there amongst like one of like 3 other white people at the entire wedding, and because believe it or not, they had a couple of white friends here and there, and so. As I was talking to this individual, he approached me and he said, what do you do?
Ooh, you love that question.
He said, you're from America, right? And I said, yeah. He's whereabouts? And I said, California. And he actually prompted the conversation with me, not knowing what I did at the time, right? He said, what do you, he said, man, he said, you guys, you really have a gun problem over there. You know that? Swear. Like, without even prompting anything, he goes, you guys have a real gun problem over there in the United States. Yeah. And I was like, do we? And he goes, yeah. He's like, why do you guys need guns?
I love propaganda so much.
Yeah. Why do you guys need guns? And so and this inevitably led into what I did, because he said, what do you do for a living? And because I said, well, first of all, I happen to be in the industry. He said, what do you do? And I told him what we did. And then he goes, yeah, okay. So yeah, you of all people should be able to explain to me, like, what's going on over there right now? This is their view of Americans, that we have guns and we don't need them. Right?
Can I interject really quick?
And then the other guy next to him was like, yeah, like what is the deal with you Americans and your fucking guns?
I love it. This is so perfect, because this is stereotypical.
Yep.
Like, you go to the UK and then you, thick, blonde hair, blue eye, American, I work in the gun industry.
Yeah, I know. It's just,
and they're just like,
that checks out.
Fucking American.
It's every fucking stereotype I could have possibly imagined.
That's so perfect.
And so his response was like, what's going on in there? Why do you guys feel like you need so many guns? And I looked at him and I said, really? Coming? I said, okay, how do I put this? Because of you. And he goes, what? And I was like, the reason why we have guns is because we had to declare our independence from you. And we did it with guns. And he was like, what do you mean? And I was like, the Revolutionary War in America. And he said, I swear to God, and I'm not even paraphrasing, they don't teach that in our curriculum. I said, you don't know about the Revolutionary War? He's like, yeah, I've heard of it. And I said, do you not know the premise behind it? How it started? How they tried to take and disarm the citizens before they like went full tyrannical?
Dude, history is his story.
And he was like, they literally don't teach that over here. And I was like, no shit.
You're like, I'm about to be your teacher.
I was like, what the fuck?
We need to have a little talk.
There may be some Brits who are listening to this. There may be some people who said, well, they did for me and I had a different experience and I knew about that. Okay.
Great.
Okay. This is one very small subset. But that guy and the guy next to him had no idea of the actual premise of where it all started in the Battle of Lexington and Concord, and when the British are coming and they're coming to get our guns, and how we won that war and why we have the Second Amendment. I had to explain all of this to him. And when I got done, he very casually and very respectfully said, that all makes sense now. Yeah, I get that. Yeah. It checks out. And I was like, dude, you guys have literally conquered many countries around the entire world. And guess what the first thing the Brits do when they go into any new country to take over? They disarm the citizens.
Yeah.
Because that is who they're worried about. Not the government, not the military.
Your museums are full of other cultures' historical artifacts.
Yes.
You want to know how you got those? It's with your guns.
Yeah. So apparently, when they went to when the police, the initial force, because only the secondary force carries firearms apparently in their English Bobby police.
Yeah. It's like a very special group.
Yeah, they have stun guns. And so when they were trying to subdue this like attacker that had the knife that was like trying to kill people with the knife that like happened a few days prior to us arriving. Apparently the stun gun didn't work and they couldn't get the guy to stop. And they eventually, I guess eventually the guys with the gun showed up and they were able to eliminate. But yeah, the guy was still going, still slashing, still attacking because they couldn't get the stun guns to take effect. And when I learned about this prior to talking to this guy, I said, do you find that there's anything wrong with that? And he was like, well, I mean, eventually the guys with the gun showed up. And I was like, how many more people died until that guy did? He's like, I don't know. And I was like, yeah. Right.
How many
but if it was your family being slashed and attacked with a fucking knife, wouldn't you want there to be a reasonable use of lethal force for them to stop doing that?
Wouldn't you want to be able to stop that guy?
Yeah. And then I posed the inevitable question, which was, what would you do if your government went tyrannical?
What would you do?
What would you do?
And he said, I don't know.
Yeah. Well, he said our government wouldn't do that, which I was like, that's all your government does, dumbass. They have a
God.
historical record.
That's all any government does.
That's all any government
That's
does.
all any government does.
Anyway,
That's like that's like, you know, like the life, when you go to like a fish hatchery and it shows you the life cycle of a salmon.
Right. Yeah.
It's like, that's the life cycle of a government.
It is the life cycle of a government.
It's exactly what happens. It starts out, it goes revolution. And then it starts out in this beautiful little like egg, right? And it's like this beautiful prospering little thing, and then it turns into a little guppy.
I'm picturing myself in this big room at a museum where it like fast forwards you
through the life cycle
of a government,
Yeah.
where it starts off and like kind music is playing, and you're like, wow,
And it's
this
all
is really
like
great,
inspiring.
Yeah, inspiring.
And then it's like gets around to like the 1920s era when everything's just fucking prospering.
Yeah, doing good.
You know, that revolution, and they're getting on their feet, and then it's their industrial revolution, and then it's the cultural, you know, revolution, and then it's this.
Yeah. Well, and then you got World War II, and the whole country binds together against the common enemy and communism, and you know,
and then it just slowly starts.
Not communism, but Hitler, obviously, and then communism inevitably when we get into the Cold War, and things are still, and
fascism
then things start to kind of
basically the same thing,
right? But then things start to kind of fall apart, like during the Cold War, right? Because now they've just initiated the CIA, the CIA, right? And the CIA is going over and like establishing fucking rogue governments in other people's countries, and like doing things, and like completely dismantling, you know, from the outside in there, dismantling the way of life of certain people that voted socialist governments into their party, and like in South America, and then we go in there and we're like, nah, we're just going to completely dismember your entire establishment of democracy. Even though you voted this individual in and you wanted socialism, we're going to go in there with the CIA and fuck that up and put our own little pawn in there. And then you just see that our own government went tyrannical. They just
and then
didn't.
PSYOP is made. And
they just didn't. They did it in all the other fucking countries. We're just as guilty of it. And
America's government is hideous, dude. It's so bad.
It's fucking atrocious.
Well, yes, I do understand the downfall of Rome. Why do you ask? I am familiar with it. Why do you ask?
And then where would that little museum go from there? It would be what?
From like once the CIA?
Yeah. And then it would be...
And then it's just 1984. And then it circles back to revolution.
Yeah, it circles back to revolution.
It's the life cycle of government, dude.
All right.
And then once it gets back to like revolution, then it's the new government. It's like, oh, we're going to do everything better again.
Yeah.
And then it's like, whoop.
Yep.
It's because...
And then what happens is you get these like corporate donors that get in there and they fucking staff the government with the people that they want to be in there. And
it's because, gentlemen and lady, human beings are corruptible.
Yeah.
Wow.
And humans are the ones in government. We should just let AI run our government.
Well, I just read something recently.
Just plug it in saying, hey, we want a democracy, and we want you to stay the fuck out of our way, and we want our taxes going to things that we want them to go to, not things that you think they should go to. Yeah, and that's about it. Yeah, just go, right? And then see if it institutes a government that is actually, you know, non-human.
Not just non-human.
It's a really bad idea.
It's a terrible idea, and don't leave humanity in the hands of robots.
Yeah. Were you going to say something more important than I am?
Maybe. I don't know. Your hand came out, dude.
Well, my hand came out because
It's a forceful jab.
Yeah, there's this interesting little thing that I was reading about the Cold War, as a matter of fact, and the fall of the Berlin Wall.
The perfect example of socialism and communism versus capitalism.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So the fall of the Berlin Wall, it's just a fun little nugget of information.
Like a little golden nugget.
It's a little golden nugget.
Yeah.
It's super interesting. So it happened November 9th of 1989. I took some notes on this. Gunther Schabowski, he was an East German, right? The bad side of the wall, political member. He was handed a note during a press conference, right? This is how the wall came down. Mm-hmm. Do you know about this?
Oh, I've heard about this. Yeah.
It's interesting.
It's so good.
It's very interesting.
It's so good.
He was handed a note during a press conference. He was not briefed efficiently or effectively. He misunderstood what the note said, and the note said something like this: "We are going to ease travel restrictions for East German citizens and allowed them to apply for visas for trips abroad a little more easier. They have to have specific reasons to travel. We're only going to give it to certain classes of people. Like there was a lot of red tape around this. There wasn't just you can go to West Germany. It was, hey, there's going to be some things you got to do, a lot of things, and it doesn't apply to everybody, just a select few. We just wanted to make the announcement so when it does happen, you guys are aware of it. Well,
he fucked up.
Here's how he read it. He said, the new regulations will allow will allow traveling effective immediately for all East Germans, and it led to mass exodus of East Germans over to the Berlin Wall. And when they got to the wall, it was too much for the guards to bear.
They couldn't keep.
They could not. They couldn't keep them all back, and it was basically they had to make a decision. We either shoot all of them or we let them through. Right.
And there's actually somewhat of a shred of humanity within those people because they didn't shoot them all.
Because they didn't shoot them all.
Yeah.
They didn't. In fact, I don't believe a single shot was fired throughout the entire process. But this is so important to everything, right?
It really
because
is.
when enough people show up and they say fucking no,
there are more ants
than grasshoppers, right? It shows you, and we see this example happen over and over and over throughout history, where you get enough people to show up and say fucking no. The government goes, all right, right?
Yeah.
So we're being kind of like herded into these little funnels by the government, into these little funnels that they want to keep us in, inside of these little cages that they want to keep us in, when all we got to do is just show up in mass.
And just say no.
Fucking mass. And
no,
be like,
dog.
No.
No, dog.
No, not today. Not today.
Literally the only reason we are in the position we are in with our laws, our regulations, the way the government is, the way that the president of the United States can get on national television and lie to the entire country is because we as Americans have allowed it.
Yep.
That's the only reason why.
It's our fucking fault.
It is.
It's our fault. And so
we allowed them to institute the laws and the regulations that stop us from being able to go and say, whoa, 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 whoa.
Yeah.
That's not okay.
And we're really fortunate to have guys like that kind of goes into what you and I were talking about a little bit ago. Guys like Matt Gaetz, who they do not want guys like that in our politics. And if you guys don't know who this is, we're going to play a couple clips for you right now.
President Biden told the country that we weren't going to have boots on the ground in Gaza.
And we won't.
Okay, but you guys parse the distinction between, like when Americans think boots on the ground, they think Americans in harm's way or engaged actively in a conflict. You guys seem to be sort of saying that boots on a pier connected to the ground, connected to service members shooting into Gaza, doesn't count as boots on the ground?
It does not.
I think you're going to find the American people have a different perspective on that. And if we're going to have people shooting into Gaza, we probably should have a vote on that, pursuant to our war powers. What if we doubled it? Like your portfolio. What if I gave you $2 for every dollar you get now? What would be like some stuff you could do?
There's a host of
it's exciting, isn't it?
Investments in the people that immediately.
You probably weren't expecting that question from me.
It's not an offer I get very frequently.
Right, but what's interesting is it's like the offer we've made to Ukraine is actually more than the cost of the United States Marine Corps. In this supplemental that we are about to vote on, there's $61 billion for Ukraine, and it's about $50 billion to have a Marine Corps. So how many $100 million paperweights do we own?
I would not categorize the F-35 as a paperweight.
Well, if it's not mission capable, if it's, what do we just stare at it and admire it?
We continue to work to make sure that we get our aircraft operational and continue to. I don't know. Don't
you think at $100 million a clip, more than 29% should be fully operational? And if the fact that we can't get them operational, you know what Secretary Kendall said when he was sitting in that chair? He said the core root of the problem is that we had let Lockheed Martin build this thing, and then we gave Lockheed Martin the full system performance contract, and they keep bilking us according to the GAO, and we sit around staring at a $100 million airplane that can't fully perform the mission, and you're sitting here telling me it's not a failure. Just own up to it, Mr. Secretary.
And the dude is like he's a fucking maniac when it comes to
Matt Gaetz is a savage. Dude.
He's a fucking savage, dude. He's an absolute animal when it comes to just speaking the absolute truth against the lies that the government proceed to tell us and
against lifetime politicians.
Against lifetime politicians, dude. He just gets in there and he's like, listen, you guys are fucking lying to people and you need to own it. And the first one goes to this particular video. We'll show it now.
I find that the idea of that so interesting. Lifetime politicians, right? Most human beings hate politics.
Right.
But there's a subset of human beings. There's this small group of humans that are like, this is going to be my life.
Yeah.
I'm going to be in this forever.
Yeah. Well, because it's so beneficial.
And
it shouldn't be.
Yeah.
It's beneficial, but it shouldn't be.
Shouldn't be.
It shouldn't be. There should be no benefit to it other than you are providing service to your countrymen.
Right.
That's it. Like you are a representative of those who voted for you. We have to establish that concept. We got to get back into this concept. This is not a position of authority. It's a position of servitude. It is a position of you being the voice of those who voted for you because we can't fit 100 million people into the halls of Congress.
We can certainly try.
They can fit 687 of them as per the January 6th event. No, but you can't fit that many people in there.
Right.
So to do the bidding of the people, you have to elect an official. And I know this is like fucking politics 101, but they go in and they vote on your behalf and they make explanations on your behalf. And that's exactly what Matt Gaetz is fucking doing. He talks about U.S. boots on the ground in Gaza. And he, in this one particular video, and he goes, you're telling the people that there are no U.S. boots on the ground in Gaza. And the guy's like, yeah. And he's like, all right. So
what about a pier?
You've got boots on the ground on a pier. It's not touching the ground, firing into Gaza. And the politician's like,
yeah.
It's
not the same.
It's not the same. Oh, okay. So,
dude,
okay.
it's just delusional.
Right. It's delusional.
It's so delusional.
Here's the delusional part about it. People are going to watch that or not going to watch that. And they're going to vote again for that individual. And that person is going to stay in power that was like, yeah, he just sat there and he went, yeah, we lied, yeah.
Whatever happened, like
it's not the same.
Well, I mean, the same thing. Like, whatever happened to the dude that pulled the fire alarm?
What there should be is a fucking constitutional police force that walks out, grabs the guy by the neck, and fucking arrests him and says, "No, you are violating the rules of the."
We need a Joe Rogan.
We need it. You have to go through proper wartime protocol of like, did we authorize this?
Yeah, did we authorize this?
No, we didn't. So why are you sending fucking soldiers over there when it was not authorized for us to be able? Well, because the boots aren't actually on the ground; they're on the fucking pier.
Dude.
Then he goes on to talk about Marine Corps funding.
That was great.
In this video. And as you can see.
Dude, that guy's baffled.
Right?
He's shook by that
like,
question.
I don't know. Yeah. He's like, this would be amazing. Actually, I haven't had that question before. That, yeah. If we, the Marine Corps budget, it costs $50 million to have a Marine Corps. $50 billion to have a Marine Corps, yet you want to. We're sitting here voting on another $61 billion to Ukraine.
We sent how much now? Like 120? Isn't it 120 billion?
Oh yeah,
yeah.
So collectively, yeah,
over double what it costs to run a Marine Corps
for
some of the hardest motherfuckers in the military.
Yeah,
crayon eating.
Just
fucking savage motherfuckers.
Crayon eating motherfuckers.
You want something broken or dead? Call the Marine Corps.
That's right. And then he gets into the F-35 program, questioning the guy on, all right, so you've got 20% of your F-35s in commission. These things are over $100 million each. They are paperweights. And the guy goes,
well, they're not paperweight.
Wouldn't classify him as a paperweight per se.
Our politicians are morons.
It's like, why? And then he said, why don't you just call a fucking spade a spade, man? Why don't you just own up to the fact that, like, yeah, these don't fucking work?
Because he's making money from it. Is why.
Fucking.
He's probably paid.
It's insane.
That's why. And oh god. Oh.
And this has absolutely nothing to do with anything, but I found it really funny, and I sent it over to you, which is a SEAL speaking out on. This is just another one. We're kind of rapid firing.
I found that very interesting.
I found this interesting. So, what is your take on this? Before I give you my opinion on this, this SEAL speaks out on Chris Kyle and Jocko.
That you're about to watch right now.
That you're about to watch right now.
There's thousands of amazing SEALs. They don't speak
great.
for the community.
Chris Kyle's a good one to bring up. Well known within the community that he beat his wife and basically wasn't the stand-up team guy, that they made a movie about. He was out there trying to get a body count, trying to brand himself as the SEAL sniper, most, kills. And he was working under Jocko Willings, who was basically pushing his guys out to do daylight, basically patrols and raids. We own the night. We call everybody else day walkers. And Jocko Willings wasn't out there basically with those guys. He was basically pushing his guys out there. And I don't know how many
That's
people.
what officers do.
No, in our community, at those levels, it's like Eric Christensen was on that helicopter to go rescue his guys.
That he was.
Jocko Willings is basically selling a brand and a persona that he didn't live up to himself. He sells extreme leadership, and everybody in the American public, hook, line, and sinker.
I found it interesting because I know really nothing about it other than I watched American Sniper,
Right.
and I make fun of Jocko.
Yep. Okay.
Good.
Good.
That's all I know. I haven't looked into Jocko. I haven't read his book. I haven't looked into Chris Kyle. I haven't read anything about him other than seeing American Sniper.
But what is your general overall feeling about what just happened?
Well, I find it to be the common case, whether it goes one of two ways.
Okay.
These people get notoriety and they make a name for themselves, and then people who are jealous will try and strip them down. Or it is generally what I kind of find to be the case. Dirtbags and or liars end up at the top of the food chain because they're dirtbags and liars.
Okay.
And so I would like to clarify, I'm not calling Chris Kyle or Jocko dirtbags and liars because I know nothing about them.
Right.
But it would fit. It would fit the mold for what this guy is saying when he's like, it's commonly known that Chris Kyle was not a good dude, or it's commonly known that Jocko was not pushing for what SEALs do, and he was just trying to get awards and shit like that.
Okay.
And now he's stateside,
right?
And he's pushing leadership. And he's pushing these different things, right?
Yeah.
We find this to be the case with people who seek that notoriety.
Mm-hmm. I agree with you, but in the other direction. What I see here is a dude posthumously bashing a fucking veteran of foreign war.
Right.
A dude that should be like, just the lack of fucking respect in that entire scenario.
It did seem like...
That's what I'm talking
weird.
about. Like, to me, all I felt was pure hatred for the man that was talking about that. I am not... Like you, I know nothing. I don't know a lot about Chris Kyle. And if it was an absolute fact plastered front and center right here that the man had domestic violence on his record, it absolutely bears no judgment on what this dude is saying. And I do have opinions about Jocko. We talk shit all the time. I think it's fun to fucking poke fun at the dude because the shit that he says is kind of ridiculous. But by no means am I going to say these two human beings are bad men, because I look at things like this. Overwhelmingly, have the things that you've accomplished and the things that you have done, does it outweigh the bad that you have done? If we sat here, and if you sat here, I sat here, and we laid down every bad fucking thing and every bad decision that we've made throughout our entire life.
God.
Right? And then every good thing and every good decision we made in our entire life. Would it outweigh the bad? And I don't know that.
It's Anubis's scales, dude.
That's what I'm saying. I don't know that mine would, but these guys, clearly, if that's the worst that dude can extract from fucking Chris Kyle and Jocko Willings, I just don't see the purpose of fucking taking a man who died in the name of trying to help other veterans, being killed by another fucking veteran who served his fucking country in a time of war overseas, and sitting there and fucking bashing him just because you're jealous of the fucking notoriety that he got because he wrote a fucking book on what he did.
So
it's a dirtbag fucking move, in my opinion.
I don't like how it was gone about, for sure. But also, we watched a short. We haven't watched the podcast.
True. Very true. Could have been way taken out of context, but when I saw that...
We're extracting out of the short, which was made for a purpose.
Very, very true.
Very true. I want to jump in on that little side tangent for a second.
Yeah.
Because we encountered this when we were talking about draw a knife, right? Rather than your gun.
Right.
There were people who were chiming in. They were like, oh, well, this is just a little excerpt from the full video. And it's like, okay, I understand that. But when you make a short from a full clip, you're doing one of two things. You're taking an excerpt of information.
Right.
Or you're trying to link to a full video.
Right.
which we have done and every creator has done.
Right.
You either A, give useful information, or B, you link to the clip. Like when we release podcast shorts,
Right.
it is to get people to go to the podcast.
Yep.
It's something funny. Maybe it doesn't make sense. Maybe it's just bits and pieces from the podcast. It's meant to get you to want to watch the podcast. This, like that, is probably meant to get you to watch the podcast, maybe, but it's set as if it's a complete and total statement.
Right.
Like the knife thing. It's set as a complete and total statement, as if I were to teach you how to do an emergency reload. It wouldn't be like, oh, well, that's just taken out of context from a full video. No, as a creator, you fit things to a mold. So I don't know.
I don't know. So I didn't watch the full clip. I didn't.
It did, but it
appreciate
did. That's true. It does seem very disrespectful, and it does.
It's like, why the
It
fuck
seems
could you do
almost
that, man?
envious a little bit.
I think that's really the one of the fundamental, sins, I guess you could say, that was like, the foundation of what he was doing was, why does this guy get all the notoriety? I did that too.
Right.
That's what I heard. I did these things. Why does he get all the fucking fame? He's a wife beater.
Right.
Okay. All right. Whatever.
Like, we own the night. You're daywalkers.
Yeah, we own the night and you're a daywalker.
I want to know that
guys.
guy's for my own curiosity, not for like what's his qualification. No, I'm
Why
just
don't you
curious
guys watch
about
the
it.
full video if you guys can?
And you
then-
let us
and
know.
you school us. Yeah, you
Please,
school us down in the
destroy
comments.
us.
And speaking of filming and putting things on the internet, what the fuck happened at the gun show? Because we went to a gun show last weekend. I will explain. I'll just give a little bit of forecasting. I don't know. Background. I'll give a little bit of background. We went to a gun show. It is one of the worst gun shows in California, and this was
so
this was
bad.
intentional. It's in Vallejo, California. Which it's a gun show in California.
Beautiful rolling hills of Vallejo.
B, it's in the Bay Area of fucking California. So, and C, it was raining, and
Dude,
D,
it was a goddamn typhoon.
Yeah, so it couldn't have been any worse. And the whole purpose of doing this gun show was literally to take one of the packages that we offer in the course, take it out there, set up 2 tables, and see how much money we could make at a shitty gun show, which I believe you guys did like $3,400 from the reports that I got back. But $3,400 at a shitty gun show in California.
Not
And the
bad.
reason why I bring this up is because, shameless plug, that we have a 10K and 10K. God, I cannot stop fucking
Freudian
saying 10K.
slipping, dude.
We
10K and 10 gays.
as part of the 2A Pro course that we're doing, which like literally we show you how start to finish how to establish yourself in business in the Second Amendment space and how to fund that.
But not only how to establish, how to run and thrive.
How to run and thrive with your business. It's incredibly detailed, literally start to finish, inside of the community, inside of the course that we offer. You can get a link down below in the description of this, and I will be closing the doors to this soon. I will. Like it's open right now, but I'm very interactive with the students that are inside of it. So I'm just letting you guys know I'm running it at about 60% off right now, and I'm going to close the doors maybe inevitably for the rest of the year. So if you want to be a part of it, if you wanted to start, there's no better time than yesterday, but today is second best.
That's right.
And you have to be able to generate revenue, right?
Yes.
Inside of to be able to run a business. And to do that, one of the easiest ways that I found was to set up this protocol where you can make $10,000 in 10 days, and it works every fucking time. And it even works at the worst gun show in the worst state with the worst weather in California. It fucking worked because in 2 days, $3,400 was generated.
Right.
And this is not
that's
a
a
course
lot
about
of money
how
for
to run
2
a gun
days.
show. This is a course about how we basically consign a bunch of product to you.
This is one small section of it.
It's one small section of it.
On
where
how to fund yourself.
We consign a ton of product over to you to allow you to go out and make a fuck ton of money in a short period of time to allow you to fund the business. So if you want to find out more, link is in the description, and do it now. But you went to the gun show with a camera to film this so that we could make a module of it. And when you walked in, please do tell what happened.
I will. First, I want to do this. And you're going to see this. You're going to see this when you're watching this, but then you're going to realize what was in the beginning. So the Vallejo gun show. So I walk in, right? I got my camera. I'm just a little camera guy walking around in my Tacticon shirt. As soon as I walked in, make over to the booth, lady walks up to me. Hi, excuse me, are you a vendor? And I'm like, yeah, I'm with Tacticon here. And Skinny was like, yeah, he's with me. It's all good. And she goes, oh, okay. I just want to make sure you're not wearing a badge. And I'm like, I'm not going to wear a badge. I'm an adult. You can't tell me to wear a badge. That's how this works. This is America, not the UK.
This isn't a nightclub. I'm not putting on a bracelet.
Yeah, I'm not putting on a bracelet. And so she was like, okay, well, I want to let you know that it's okay for you to film your booth, but I'm just going to tell you it's not okay for you to film any other booth or anybody else, just for their safety and for privacy. And the reason I wanted to bring this up is because, first, the Vallejo Gun Show has a Facebook page. Second, secondly,
they put plenty of pictures and photos and videos on their page.
I want to seriously go into this because it's almost a little bit of delusion. And I know a lot of people, and I have encountered a lot of people with this kind of, I don't want to say incompetence, but it's a little bit of incompetence and a little delusion behind it. They have this idea that, oh, well, we need to be secretive about this. First, I would like to state the government knows everything about you. If you don't think that, you're delusional. Okay, the NSA exists. They don't care.
Yeah.
But first, you have a cell phone. I don't know if you've looked at your cell phone when you turn it on under nods. This thing is a beacon of IR light that illuminates, hits you in the face, and scans your face for your Face ID. I'm sure most of you probably have a Face ID or have used Face ID before. Snapchat, you ever tried that Snapchat filter? Snapchat has your facial construction data. Have you ever used an Instagram filter? They have your facial construction data. Instagram, Facebook, Meta, Snapchat, Apple, Android, they all have your facial thumbprint, they have your passwords, and it's all accessible to the US government because they don't play by the rules.
Yep.
So what I'm getting at here is this lady wanted...
Was it 278,000?
That was just what they were found to be using it.
278,000.
They used the FISA database.
The FISA database.
They were audited and they were found to only have misused it 278,000 times.
That's it, man.
That's what they found.
Yeah, thank God it wasn't 300,000.
Thank God.
Yeah, I'm so proud of
But
them.
if I fuck up on my taxes twice, I go to jail.
Okay.
So anyways, the reason I bring this up is because this lady is like, well, for other people's safety and other people's security, I would ask that you wouldn't take photos of them. I'm assuming, because I didn't really want to dive into it, I'm assuming from her end it's so that they're not seen at the gun show. They don't want their photo taken at the gun.
Right.
Right, and I respect that. I respect people's privacy in that regards. But the way it's stated and the way it's shown is that, one, you don't have a phone with your geolocation on it.
Right.
Two, that you don't have your Facebook connected to your phone and your pictures, and they know everything about you. Like, the idea is, oh, well, we don't want people or their booths shown because then the government might know what's going on.
The DOJ's in there every single time there's
If
a gun
you don't
show.
think there is a federal agent or multiple federal agents walking around every gun show, lurking in every single Discord server, you're an idiot.
Yeah, they are everywhere.
They
dude.
don't play by the rules and they will entrap you. Look at Ruby Ridge. They don't care.
No,
they don't.
they
The U.S. government does not play by the rules, and they never fucking will. And they get away with it.
Yeah.
So it's a gross delusion, and it's silly. It is silly.
To say the very least. So you were only able to film the actual
Our booth, yeah. Our booth and us.
Yeah. Oh, that's great.
And then when I would ask people, I'd be like, hey, is it okay if I kind of like film your guys' interaction? I can like blur out your face. They're like, nah, no, thank you. And I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. So.
And then I would watch them pull out their phone. I'm like,
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah. Nice.
And then
nice.
they pay with a credit card.
Yeah.
I'm like, nice.
But, God forbid that they're unsafe with your filming of some things that are going to be inside of a paid course. So
That are going to be seen by less people than their Instagram posts.
there's like 30 people looking at it.
Sweet.
All right.
Dude, it's just,
Yeah.
it's so silly, guys. Like, there's a lot of, and it jumps back into that delusion of like the US government, right? I think there's still a lot of people who might believe that the U.S. government isn't as bad as they are.
Right.
And that baffles me because we all know the atrocities of human beings. Like throughout history, we've seen human beings be the worst imaginable. And people who generally seek power are the worst people imaginable.
Yeah.
And people who are in government are generally the people who seek power. Are you catching the tale I'm weaving here?
Humans suck and humans are the government.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Have you, diving into that, have you seen what the ADL has posted as patriot extremism?
No.
Well, let me read it to you here.
Nice. Let's go over this real quick.
So the ADL is the Anti-Defamation League, in case you were wondering. The Patriot Movement. The quote-unquote Patriot Movement is a collective term used to describe a set of related conspiratorial and anti-government extremist movements and groups in the United States. The most important of these movements are the Militia Movement, the Sovereign Citizen Movement, and the Taxed Protest Movement. Though each sub-movement has its own beliefs and concerns, they share a conviction that part or all of the government has been infiltrated and subverted by a malignant conspiracy and is no longer legitimate.
Oh, a tax protest movement? You're saying people are mad that you're spending their money without their permission in other countries that they never wanted to do that in the first place?
But
is that
dude, this is CIA 101.
Yeah.
This is PSYOP CIA 101. What they do is they start changing definitions of terms and they start labeling different things
like patriotism
as an extremist movement.
Right.
Why in God's name would this extremist movement be labeled the Patriot Movement?
Yeah, it's an interesting naming. Interesting naming protocol.
Or the anti-tax protest movement? The sovereign, heaven fucking forbid that you have control and power of your own person.
Yeah.
Heaven fucking forbid.
Yeah. This is real shit, dude. This is real shit. This is real shit that has been going on for quite some time that will continue to change the direction and the course of our freedom as we move forward.
It's there's also a Wikipedia page on it.
Yeah.
And most notably, far-right armed militias. Ideologies held by patriot movement groups often focus on anti-government conspiracy theories.
Anti-government conspiracy theories?
Yeah. So, you believe that the government could be corrupt?
Oh.
You're a patriot extremist. Literally, our founding fathers.
Yeah.
What they are trying to do, what they are doing, and you can see this on college campuses. You can see this in the minds of our youth.
Yeah.
They are turning patriotism. They are turning what our founding fathers set this country up to believe in. What the Constitution stands for: freedom of speech, freedom of your person, freedom to bear arms, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, the American dream. They are turning that into a ideological far-right extremist movement.
AKA terrorism.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. If you can villainize it, demonize it, and categorize it as that thing, then you will eventually dismantle it.
Nixon did it with the hippies.
Yeah.
That's
true.
Listen, I'll put up the quote right here.
Yeah.
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 They knew exactly what they were doing.
Yeah. 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 Killing it from the inside out. And if that is the case, by definition, that means if they truly consider anybody who's going to question the validity of the government, what they're doing, and whether or not they're doing the right thing, and protesting against those things as a terrorist act, then by definition, our founding fathers were terrorists.
They were patriot extremist
They
terrorists.
set up our framework
Yes.
to be able to do the very thing that we are doing right now.
Should a government become destructive of these ends, it is
Yes.
the right of the people.
It's the right of the people. It's like it's clear as fucking day, but because and this is just it's just government overreach. It is one of those things where things innately try to protect themselves and preserve themselves, right? Self-preservation is it's alive and well in the animal kingdom. It's alive and well in the human kingdom, right? And it is alive and well in our government. It is the self-preservation of our own government to say you can't take this, don't do this. And if you try to do this, then we are going to try to put you in fucking prison, like what they're doing to Trump right now. We are going to take you to trial. Something really interesting about the prosecuting attorney in that trial that Trump's in right now is that guy was on the advisory board for Biden's fucking campaign at one point in time and worked under the Obama administration inside of the the liberal agenda in the day.
Is that
and
is that the freaky gangly looking dude with the super yellow teeth?
Yeah, and if he put on glasses, he would look exactly like fucking Anthony Fauci.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that guy.
Yeah, which I didn't realize until I was listening to a podcast with a couple of dudes that they identified that. I don't know if you guys listen to the Frizella podcast, Anthony Frizella.
I haven't listened to it.
Yeah, it's real AF. It's really it's really fucking good. But they were talking about it, and I was like, no fucking way, that's what he looks like. I was like, you got it. He nailed it. He nailed it. He was like, he looks like fucking Anthony Fauci with fucking like if he were to put glasses on. Anyway, yeah. So this is the same. It's the same dude that has like. Are we not on the same fucking page here? Why should the guy be? The conflict of interest is just enormous.
So I looked into this guy. I might have to correct myself on screen, so check it. But I believe I remember reading that this judge like openly stated that he was like, it's not anti-Trump, but he openly stated his disdain for Trump, and yet he is the judge. Yeah. That seems like a little bias right there.
Yeah.
It's like either his disdain or like...
No, you're right.
It's something like that.
Yeah.
He's like also an open socialist, I'm pretty sure.
He's been very vocal about not liking the man. Yeah. Yeah, and yet they're bringing in, trying to bring in like key witnesses like Stormy Daniels, who's got a clear vendetta against the guy, who's like on record literally saying, I would be celebrating in the street if he went to prison. Men like him need to be flushed down the fucking sewer drain. And you're using that like this is valid testimony? No, this is a way for a fucking washed up porn star to stay relevant because she makes money by staying relevant, and you're going to bring her in as some fucking credible witness?
All I'm going to say is I don't listen to whores or people with dirty teeth. Look at that guy's teeth. He's got bad teeth. Like it's not even that like, he got a bad genetic. No, motherfucker's teeth are dirty. Yeah. He doesn't brush his teeth.
No.
I don't trust that guy.
No.
You don't trust somebody who doesn't brush their teeth.
If you can't take care of your own personal hygiene, that which is inside your own face,
greasy.
How do I plan? Yeah. How do we plan to trust that any action you're going to take is going to, hygienically cleanse us of bad men in our society? Fuck
dude,
that.
Yeah.
Fuck that.
Don't trust it.
Not for a second.
Yeah. Only trust pretty people. That's what I'm getting at here.
That's what we're talking about.
If you can't find that person attractive, don't trust them.
No. Yeah. Don't bring washed up porn stars to your expert witness testimonies. Bring relevant porn stars to your expert witness.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like relevant. Theodore Roosevelt, attractive man. I trust him. Right? Not like I don't look at him and go, wow, he's super handsome. But I look at him and go, that's rugged handsome. I trust him.
Yeah.
JFK, attractive man.
An attractive man. You have to trust that.
Any other presidents you can think of that are attractive?
You know what? It's not really a common trait.
Washington, he was stout for his time.
He was stout. He was a tall man.
He was a tall man.
I believe he was 6'6", 6'7".
Yeah, I believe so. Like a 6'6" ginger just running into battle.
Just an absolute stallion. Yeah, ginger, huh? Yeah,
I'm pretty sure he was a ginger.
He just wore a little white wig. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Most of them did.
Yeah. A very strange thing to wear.
So what's interesting, speaking of George Washington, did you know most of the founding fathers, when the Revolutionary War took place, they were actually like between like 25 and like 35?
Wow.
Yeah, it's kind of like shown to us their portraits and shit.
Jesus Christ.
They were like 26, 27, a lot of them.
I didn't know that.
Like I'm pretty sure James Madison was like 24. And like Thomas Jefferson was like almost 30.
No way. Yeah. No, because James Madison, while that was all going on, well, no, it could have been
possible.
possible.
When the war was going on.
I know that when the war was going on, Oh, okay, when the war was going on.
Yes,
because
during the revolution.
the aftermath, when they were setting up, when they were trying to create a government and setting up the Constitution and everything that they were doing, I do know that he had like a 12-year-old kid, which would have probably put him at least 30 at that time.
Yeah, he probably had a kid at like 16.
Yeah, like they did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but no, apparently like when like the revolution was like happening, he was a young man.
Yeah, because that was back in the day when they were like, oh, you have a period? Perfect, you can get pregnant.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Survival.
Absolute. Yeah. I mean, you know what? It's like, it's repulsive to us right now, but I guess when you're expected, when your life expectancy is, fucking 50 years old, then you're like, we better get this shit done now.
Well, I mean, like I could be speaking out of my ass, but I'm pretty sure I remember reading that like in the Mexican culture,
Yeah.
like a couple hundred years ago, it was very common for like 14, 15-year-olds
Yeah.
to like get together and like start a family.
Damn.
Yeah.
If minor attractive persons could have a time machine.
See, but it was like, but it was 15-year-olds with 15-year-olds.
Yeah, exactly.
Starting families.
Exactly.
It wasn't 35-year-olds with
Right,
12-year-olds.
right,
Or
yeah.
85-year-olds.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Fucking monsters.
I know. God. Jesus. What? Yeah. Humans.
Humans.
Fucking humans.
Fucking humans.
Which
dude.
I'm going to put this up. Do you remember, for those of you listening, do you remember when we talked about, would you rather your daughter be in the middle of a forest with a bear or the middle of a forest with a man? And that's all the information that you get. A human man or a bear. And you don't know how long she's going to be there. There's no other information.
There's no
It's
other
like
information.
She's just there.
It's do you trust the bear or do you trust the man?
She's there with the bear. She's there with the man. And then Nolan sent me this really cool
Meme.
a little
I got
meme,
this
which
from
is
King Picks, by the way.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, he posted
Okay.
this on Twitter.
It's super cool. So we'll put it up right now. And the reply is, it's clearly a very progressive woman saying, we don't trust men, so we choose the bear. And then it's a man saying, so you understand why I don't want a man in the bathroom with my daughter. And then it just shows her
Angry
thinking
face.
and then angry face. Well, yeah.
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 Yeah, there's a fucking reason.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. Which leads me to believe that you could put up this one right here, which is Matt Walsh.
Yeah.
Where he schools the shit out of a woke student who, they're having this debate on is it man or woman?
Right.
Is gender binary?
Right.
Is, how can you identify as something that you're not? And this particular man who is in this video, who's transitioning over to be a woman, has admittedly is an EMT. And Matt Walsh has a very, very good explanation. So you watch the video.
I just have one. I have one quick. Can you come back for 1 second? Because this is an important question. You said you're an EMT.
Yes.
Okay. If you're responding to a health emergency. Biological male, somebody with a penis, is having a medical emergency, and they say to you, "I think I'm having a miscarriage." Would you check them to see if they're having a miscarriage? Would you consider that a possibility for them?
No, but that's because some people don't have body parts. Doesn't mean they're not a woman.
Okay. Sounds like we've established there are some people who, in principle, can get pregnant, and there are some people who can't. So there's two categories, otherwise known as binary.
Yeah.
Okay. So that to me was probably one of the most profound arguments and eloquently put arguments that was just kind of off the cuff that I've ever seen with this actual debate
Right.
on whether or not there's a binary gender. Because as an EMT, as a medical professional, she had to answer the question, right?
Right.
You have to answer the question with, at the expense of, I don't know, either looking like a fool or losing your license to do what you do for a living. It's like, are you going to take this person seriously if they have a penis and they said that they're having a
Yeah,
miscarriage?
because that would find their way back to that job, and you would
yeah.
lose your job
I
if
can
you were
imagine
like,
they'd be
yes,
like, no,
I
you
would.
can't do
Yeah.
this anymore
Yeah,
because
No.
like you cannot waste time by treating a miscarriage with a man with on a man with a penis.
Yeah.
Like it completely invalidates everything.
Or
that you've
even a
done.
man with a vagina.
It's just pretty incredible that anybody that has gone through the training and the class work and the sciences, the biological sciences that you have to go through to do that job would even consider the fact that, there's anything other than a man or a woman.
Dude.
Why is this what we're fucking debating anymore? Isn't there other shit to talk about?
The reason.
Why is this a fucking conversation? Is it because we keep talking about it?
Yeah, it's probably just because we keep talking
No,
about
I'm
it.
not talking about you and I, but just in general.
It's you and I.
Just
We're fueling it.
Dude,
we're fueling the fire.
I mean, fuck.
No. What it is there is a severe mental health problem throughout the world, and what it is it's acceptance culture, and there's too much empathy. Empathy has its place, but there's too much, and we're feeding into people's delusions, and it's not healthy for the world. For example, you can identify as whatever the fuck you want to identify as. You can go get a sex change, quote unquote, right? You can mutilate your genitalia to swap it to the other genitalia.
Right.
That doesn't change your biological makeup. It never will. No matter how hard you identify as a sheep, as a goat, as a man, as a woman, it's never going to change what you really are. You're putting on a mask and it's a facade, and people are giving in and they are supporting these delusions. We don't tell schizophrenic patients that what they're seeing is real.
Right.
Why are we doing this when people are coming to you or anybody and they're going, I feel like I'm a man or a woman or a dog or a cat? You don't do that, except now we're starting to get to this point of too much empathy because there's too much ease in the world. You don't have to go and hunt for food.
Yeah.
You have to go to a job and push pencils.
Yeah,
you have to flip burgers for $20 an hour.
Look at anywhere else in the fucking world. Like, this is a problem inside of a country that wants for nothing, that is fed, that sleeps 8 hours a night.
It's a first world problem.
It is an absolute first world problem, because what you don't see is this popping up. I did not in all my time in other countries that were far more impoverished than this one, ever witness anybody identifying as anything other than what they were, because they don't have the leisure, the privilege, or the opportunity to think outside of, I need to wake up, I need to go to work, I need to make a little bit of money to provide a little bit of food and hopefully pay for the roof over my head for this family that I have.
Right.
You know what I mean? We've got it's that leisurely, it's the fall of the fucking Roman Empire, right?
Well, yes, I do know about the fall of the Roman Empire. Why are you asking?
See what I mean? But it's the same. It's exactly that. It's like life is so fucking good that it's like, what problems can I manufacture? What things can I twist up so that we can have like a debate about something that shouldn't even be fucking debated? And it's because you're too fucking comfortable. That's why.
Humans,
right? We're a little.
Part of me believes human beings require some sort of strife, some sort of a challenge in their life.
Right.
And so if there is no challenge, they present one. They create one. They create the problem to solve the problem.
Yes. Yep. Yeah.
We've all had that girlfriend.
We need.
When there is no problem, they make a problem.
We do, believe it or not, although we strive for the path of least resistance, there is something innately inherent about human nature of needing some sort of conflict, of needing some sort of a struggle, of having something to stand for.
It's the reason we've had war.
When you channel the energy into something that is completely irrelevant, like whether or not I'm a fucking man or a woman and how many genders there are, and if I can or can't identify as a bird, which is a thing, like what are they called? Like
avians or something?
Avian, yeah. Then, look, I'll give you this, right? And if we can find the clip, we'll post it. If not, I'm just going to tell you about it. It's a Sean Ryan. Somebody's asking a question to Sean Ryan. He's that Navy SEAL, right?
Yeah.
And I believe who was interviewing? I think it was could have been Joe Rogan, maybe. He was asking him, or it was Jordan Peterson. It was
Peterson.
It was Jordan Peterson. He was asking him, so what is the biggest accomplishment you've ever had in your entire life? And he said, my biggest accomplishment was becoming a Navy SEAL, of graduating and like when I got my trident, not doing the work as a Navy SEAL, not actually
But
executing his
passing
duties,
passing
but
buds.
passing buds,
Yeah.
getting his fucking trident, and standing up and saying, I'm a SEAL.
Right.
And then Jordan Peterson said, what is the hardest thing you've ever had to do? And he said, that. Being selected as a Navy SEAL. He said that was the single hardest thing I've ever had to do, even outside of my service, outside of the combat, outside of everything else I was in. Becoming the SEAL was the hardest thing I've ever done in my entire life. And he said, so you're saying that the hardest thing you've ever done is also the thing you're most proud of.
Right.
The thing that you hang your hat on.
Right.
The thing that you stand up and you say, I am fulfilled by
Right.
this thing that I did. What does that tell you about human nature? It means that if we if we do the hardest thing we could possibly fucking think of, then we will be fulfilled.
Right.
It is a fulfilling
Doing
venture.
challenging things.
Doing challenging things. Now, I can't imagine, and this is not in their favor, but it will sound like it, and it probably somewhat is actually. It's not meant to be, but how challenging would it be for me at this point in my life to convert over and transition over to be a female?
Well, California will pay for it.
Dude, it can't be fucking easy.
No.
It is not easy. You're talking about fucking chemical castration and surgeries and people judging you and going through these hard times and finding your little clique and hopefully being accepted within
So-
it. And so this is a very like hard thing to do. You don't just wake up and you're like, I'm just a chick. No, you got to do shit. You got to do things, and it's going to be hard and it's going to be difficult and it's going to be, people are going to judge you. But why not just what they're seeking, I don't think is like
Learn
the
an
ability.
instrument.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like what they're seeking is not the fucking ability to become another like gender. It is, and I don't, obviously I'm not a fucking transgender, so I don't know this, but I think fundamentally and psychologically, it really boils down to like, this is going to be a hard thing. And I'm going to choose this path because I just don't have the fucking balls to go do anything else that's going to fucking challenge me. And I choose this path.
I have two things I want to say to this. One, I saw a Reddit thread on this, so take that with a grain of salt. But it was really funny. It was a post, and it was somebody saying, I find it weird how transgender people try and convince people to be trans.
Oh yeah.
And it was a thread of comments, and then eventually it got to, do you know how hard it was to convince my trans friend that they were trans? And I was just like, wow, that's hilarious. But
Yeah.
the second thing I wanted to say was the internet and talking about finding that click.
Yeah.
The internet allows every village idiot to find every other village idiot
And then
be a group of village idiots.
Yeah, they do, yeah.
Think about it, right?
Yeah.
Back in the day, you had a group of people. Let's just say 100. Let's keep it easy.
Yeah.
There's one guy who's a fucking moron,
Yeah.
and he is the dumbest of all of you, and everybody knows that.
Yeah.
And nobody listens to him because he's an idiot, and everybody knows it. But now, you just have America or the world, because we're all interconnected with the internet.
Yeah.
And now that one guy has turned into 1 billion guys
Yeah, because they found every other
because they
idiot.
found every other village idiot. And now it's like, whoa, maybe there's some validity to that or something. Maybe
Yeah.
they have, maybe we should listen to it. Maybe they are valid.
Right.
No, it's just a bunch of village idiots put together.
Yeah, it's this big fucking echo chamber of people who have nothing better to do, that have a very, very comfortable life and decide one day, you know what? I'm a little too comfortable. I'm going to make this uncomfortable. And instead of putting that energy into something meaningful, you're putting it into, hey, you need to call me this and call me that. And let me get this fucking straight right now. We are absolutely, unequivocally have the ability with our freedoms to do and be whatever the fuck we want to be without infringing on anybody else's freedoms.
Or harming other people.
You will not tell me that you're allowed to use the same fucking bathroom as my daughter. You will not tell me if you're a man transitioning to a woman, and you will not ever tell me that I have to call you a fucking woman when I know that you're a man. It'll never fucking happen. I will never, ever, ever back down on that.
And you will never
nobody
be
should.
some weak little human being who is unable to protect themselves be able to come to me and tell me the Second Amendment shouldn't exist anymore.
Yeah.
No,
No.
you're a bunch of village idiots.
Yeah.
There was one other thing. There was one other thing that I wanted to bring up here, and I need to find it.
Oh, but while you do that, go ahead and find it.
Yeah,
I'm going to post these pictures up right now. These pictures
you're going to post those pictures up right now.
Yeah, you're going to post these pictures up right now, which is, there's so much behind this. Now, these are funny little photos. I'll let you determine what's wrong with this NYPD SWAT officer. Okay, this is really funny. I mean, the guy NYPD, and it took me a minute because I don't use this particular optic to figure out what was really going on with it, and then I was like, oh, I see, that's wrong. And then there's the other one where this really high speed gentleman is not. He's holding his buttstock. Okay,
that guy can clearly pass the physical.
And then he's got his hand on the magazine like a Fudd would as a foregrip, and then he's gripping his buttstock as if it were the actual pistol grip with zero finger on his trigger. Which
I feel like he's
borderline
shooting
amazing.
like this, and like his recoil is just him shaking it. He's just like
it could be.
He's like,
yeah, very well could be.
That.
Not really sure what's happening here, but I love the little 1-point sling trident hook hanging off the back. That's real cute. I don't know. So here's the point of me showing you these, right? So obviously get over to where you can see it on video so that you can see what I'm looking at. NYPD SWAT officer has his optic on backwards, and this dude is just, I don't know what the fuck he's doing with the firearm. He might as well be holding it upside down. And this is the thing that gets me, is only our peace officers, only the government should be allowed to have these weapons of war, these weapons of,
I completely agree.
Of assault, right? Yet, what I'm seeing here
is they don't know how to mount their optics or hold a rifle.
Right. And I'm not saying this goes for all of them. I get it. This is a small subset, a very select few. But listen, if any member of the government is not mounting their optic on the proper way, is not like holding a rifle with his hand where it is supposed to be, finger off the trigger until he's about to use it, not by the buttstock where he can't even engage the subject, we got problems, man. You know, we got problems. So it's interesting that only the government should be allowed to own a thing, yet when governments own the thing, this is what happens.
Oh, I didn't even see this either.
This?
Look at this
What's
guy.
that?
So this is the guy next to the guy holding the rifle by its buttstock with his kit clearly invading his pistol space there.
Yeah.
So he can't even access his pistol right now.
That dude couldn't even get the pistol out of That's incredible. That really is.
Right.
Yeah. He's got his he's got a, if you're not looking at it, this guy's got his he's got like this little pack on his back, and then underneath one of the nylon straps, it's going over his pistol grip. So if he were to attempt to draw his pistol, he would not be able to.
No.
It is completely locked behind his kit.
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
I wanted to touch really quick our last podcast with Kime Physical Performance.
Oh yeah, you wanted to talk about a thing.
Yeah, I wanted to talk about a thing. So a lot of you guys in the Discord asked a lot of really good questions, and we appreciate you. There was a lot we didn't get to touch on just because we had a limited amount of time, and some of them were kind of redundant.
Yeah.
But they were still good questions nonetheless, and a lot of them was based on recovery and things that you can do, either starting to get into physical fitness, wanting to get better at it, and or longevity. And they touched on it a fair amount, but there's some things that I can share. My little background on this. I've been a personal trainer. I've got a black belt in martial arts. I understand body mechanics. Stretching. Work on your flexibility. When they were talking about your mobility sucks,
Yeah.
it's because your muscles aren't firing correctly. Your stabilizers aren't firing correctly. Work on your mobility. Work on that flexibility. Be able to touch your toes. It's important. Your hamstring flexibility. How flexible are your hips?
Yep.
You know?
Yep.
It's super crucial. Can your trunk turn? Right? So for longevity and as well as getting into strength training, just take it one step at a time and be flexible.
Yeah. And do what you can in the gym. I mean, there's so many, like all the gurus out there and all the things like, well, you're doing that wrong and this doesn't. Honestly, man, if you're in the gym and you're working out, are you really doing it wrong? Are you?
There's a couple I can say are doing it wrong.
But
But
yeah, I mean, there's some pretty egregious, like, okay, that you're operating that piece of
Right.
equipment very incorrectly.
Right.
It's probably not doing it for you.
Yeah.
There is an efficient way to work out.
But that's a
where
1 percentile.
It's a very, very small amount. Like, don't worry about the nuance, right? Don't worry about, oh, you're not bringing your curl down to full supination, right?
Right.
When you're doing, bicep curls. It's like if you're in there and you're doing a bicep curl, you're in there doing a bicep curl. Like, who gives a fuck, man?
Yeah.
And if you're not using a ton of weight, who gives a shit?
Who gives a shit?
Do
Doesn't matter.
what you can with what you've got, because if you do, you're probably in the top 1% of people that most people don't work out. Most people don't eat healthy. Take a look around you. Look at the overweight. Look at the obese people. Look at people who are unhealthy in general, and understand that if you just do a little bit, you will set yourself and distinguish yourself apart from anybody else that's out there. And it is very easy for you to be more physically, which is what we're really trying to do, right? We're trying to be physically fit, both to be healthier and live a longer life, but also to be able to protect ourselves in the event the bad shit happens.
Right.
If that is the case, then just doing even a little bit of workout, just doing something that is not going to put you off to where you say, I never want to do that again. And I think that's fundamentally the problem with people that like really get into it and like, I'm going to work out tomorrow or today. Hopefully you say today, and I'm going to do it so fucking hard and so fast to make up for all the lost time. All that does is it makes you super sore. You spend a bunch of time in there doing it to where you're going to wake up the next day and go, I don't have time to do that workout again, and I'm way too sore to do that workout
Right.
again. So, dude, if you started at 10 or 15 minutes and then you worked your way up to 20 and your way up to 40, even to this day, I don't work out more than 40 minutes
Right.
at a time. Like, I just don't. I used to stay in the gym for like 2.5 hours a fucking day.
Dude, I
It was
used to have
insane.
4-hour gym sessions.
Yeah.
It's stupid.
Yeah.
It was dumb.
Yeah. And I know now that if I obligated my days to 2.5 hours of working out, I would just never do it.
Yeah. It's too much time.
So I tell myself, I'm just going to do it hard. I'm just going to get moving. I'm going to get my body moving for 30 to 40 minutes, at most. And then
It's the consistency which matters the most.
It really
It
is,
really is. If you're able to stay consistent and push yourself a little bit, you don't have to push yourself super duper hard every time, but you should be able to push it and go, okay, I can tell that I am stressing the muscle.
yeah.
And it really is, man. It's really just that little bit at a time and being able to stay consistent with it.
Yep.
And I think it's like 80 to 90% of the population can't do 10 pull-ups. So like if you can do 10 pull-ups, you're doing good.
Yeah.
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 Think about that.
You're up there in the 90th percentile.
Yeah, like-
good for you.
Like walking around in public, it's kind of judgmental, so I feel bad about it, but humans judge anybody.
Yeah.
Humans judge anyways, so let's not act like we're above it, okay?
Right.
You're constantly judging. You're judging me right now.
I'm judging you so hard.
Good. That's what human beings do. So stop acting like you're better. Anyways, next time you're out in public, just look around and go, could that person do 20 push-ups right now?
Yeah.
Think of it like that.
Yeah.
And it's not in like a I'm better than them way. It's just like, oh,
Could I outperform these individuals physically?
well, it's just like there's so many people that don't.
Yeah.
And just doing a little bit
Can
sets
I
you apart
walk up to that guy and take his girlfriend away from him right now?
every time.
Yeah. That's really
Mr. Steal Your Girl.
Mr. Steal Your Girl.
Mr. Steal Your Girl. Do you have anything else you want to add?
I've got nothing else. Get down there, join the Discord, join the course if you want to start a business in the Second Amendment. I will see you in there. And with, that's all. All those links are down in the description. And with that,
We bid thee.
Aqueef.
Aqueef.